regeneration projects, there's a challenge there that isn't going to go away. So we're going to need a bit of imagination. It's a scandal that we have empty housing units, and at the same time we have substandard housing units, and then we have housing lists. So there is a bit of a piece of work that has to be done around housing over the next couple of years.
The regeneration in this area has been really the epitome of the so-called Celtic Tiger, where St Michael's and that in 1999, where there was huge negotiations with the community. The council agreed they were going to regenerate the area. Then all of a sudden the position was changed. Public-private partnerships were brought in. There had to be more renegotiation. Then that was changed again. And then by the time there was any sort of movement at all, the economy had collapsed. And it's part of our job creation programme that ULA are pushing forward, that this is where the jobs can be. This is what's needed. There needs to be regeneration. I was down in Basin Lane the other day, and the place, honestly, people are in despair. The amount of windows knocked in over a period of time, maintenance aren't going out to fix them because you haven't got the staff, because if you have arrears in your rent, the council won't deal with you at all. So places have been let just go to rot. And this is where we can create jobs. The state has a key role in creating jobs and getting people back to work and regenerating our community. So I think that's number one.
And about regeneration, and it's probably before Crean, when Crean was in the council, but somebody let those developers off big time. They built a whole load of private apartments, and they were supposed to rebuild those 5 developments. And I don't know who was in the council then that are up here, but how did they get away with it? And where is the money now? And I believe, as well as that, the council have taken out another $1 billion.
In relation to regeneration, it's not just a social and physical regeneration that needs to happen. We need to address the living conditions of people who are in absolutely disgraceful living conditions in some of the flat complexes in this constituency, where you have raw sewage coming up into people's baths and needles and the likes. It is a human right that you should have proper habitable living conditions. That is not happening in this area, and that is a consequence of the policy pursued by this government, which put all of our future housing needs, social housing needs, into the hands of public and private partnerships, which collapse. And now the people who are living in those conditions are being told, you have to wait, you have to wait. It is not good enough, and that is one of the areas where we need kind of to redevelop or regenerate those areas so that you give a decent standard of living to people living in those homes.
Regeneration, well, of course I agree, but I mean, there's a point made by Karina. The reality is that, for example, take St Michael's Estate. I launched that regeneration when I was Lord Mayor in 2002, and there was no shortage of public money to finish that project, because there was lots of money in the kitty between 2002 and 2007, but it was other problems, namely, particularly, I think, a lack of leadership perhaps by the City Council and other issues that led to that not going ahead. So there was many regeneration projects which didn't go ahead, not through a lack of funding. Just check the record. As I say, there was lots of funding between 2001 and 2007.